Order. Before we become to the business questions, I would like to say something about yesterday's evening's proceedings. The final division of the day on the third reading of the Finance No. 2 bill was subject to intolerable delays in the voting lobbies. This Parliament is meant to be respected around the world and should set an example of good behaviour. The behaviour in the lobby last night, involving a group of about half a dozen government members, including the Chief and Deputy Chief Whip, was totally unacceptable. I expect better from honourable members and right honourable members. If members are asked to move swiftly through the lobbies, they must do. The fact it took 22 minutes to get a vote through is beyond the pale. I cannot believe the behaviour. It is absolutely not going to be accepted. The sergeant lost his authority because MPs said, "I am not moving." Pretending to be ill, by 7 o'clock they were suddenly well again. If we think that this gives us good standing in the world, it doesn't. It is appalling. We should be ashamed, and I hope that I will be getting letters from the people who were involved in that protest. If the government can't manage the business, maybe they ought to go on a training exercise rather than disrupting the rules of the House. So I say, I expect better from honourable right honourable members. If members are asked to move swiftly, they must move and respect the sergeant. There are other ways in which the government whips can manage timings of business in the chamber. It is disrespectful to this House, to the occupant of the chair. The deputy was put in impossible position, and to the office of the sergeant at arms to behave in the way that they did. Members, as I say, involved should be ashamed. I will now call the shadow leader for business questions, Jessie Norman.
This wasn't just a messy moment in Parliament. This was a warning sign. Because what unfolded inside the House of Commons wasn't simply disorder. It was a breakdown in how power is managed at the very top of British politics. Here's what actually happened. During a crucial vote on a finance bill, something highly unusual took place. MPs didn't just debate or oppose. They slowed the system itself. The voting process, which normally takes minutes, dragged on far longer than expected. And it wasn't accidental. The Speaker stepped in, visibly frustrated, accusing members, particularly those connected to the government side, of deliberately stalling proceedings. That's not just bad optics. That's a direct challenge to parliamentary discipline. And that's where this becomes bigger than it looks. Because Parliament runs on trust and procedure. If MPs begin bending those rules, even subtly, it creates a dangerous precedent. Today it's a delay. Tomorrow, it could be something far more disruptive. So why would anyone do this? The strategy here is layered. For government-aligned MPs, delaying tactics can be used to buy time, manage internal disagreements, or avoid political embarrassment if numbers aren't lining up. It's a pressure valve when control starts slipping. On the other side, opposition figures are quick to seize moments like this. They frame it as incompetence, a government unable to manage its own business. And politically, that narrative is powerful. Because this isn't just about politicians arguing inside Westminster. It matters to the public. When Parliament looks chaotic, it erodes confidence. Voters start asking, if they can't even run a vote properly, how can they run the country? It feeds into a growing sense of frustration, especially during a time when people are already dealing with economic pressure, rising costs, and uncertainty about the future. And then there's the global image. The UK Parliament has long positioned itself as a model of democratic order. Moments like this chip away at that reputation. So what happens next? Expect tighter control from leadership, possibly internal warnings, maybe even procedural changes to prevent this from happening again. But politically, the damage is already done because perception moves faster than reform. And in today's climate, perception is everything. Because when discipline disappears at the top, trust disappears everywhere else.